Hey folks, welcome back. Let's be honest. Getting ignored hurts. Watching someone you once had a connection with slowly drift away, acting like you never mattered, is frustrating. And in that moment, your mind races with 100 different ways to react. Maybe you think about blocking them, just to make a statement. Maybe you feel tempted to send one last message, hoping, praying that this time they'll respond. Or worse, maybe you're stuck checking your phone, replaying old conversations, wondering what went wrong. But listen, folks, reacting out of emotion is exactly what they expect. They expect you to beg. They expect you to chase. They expect you to lash out or make a dramatic exit, because that gives them confirmation that they still have control over you. And that's where you make your first mistake. Blocking them? That's not power. That's running away. Begging? That's just proving that they were right to pull away in the first place. So, what do you do instead? You shift the entire game, silently, strategically, without them even realizing it. You make them feel something they never expected. Doubt. Doubt that walking away was the right decision. Doubt that they ever really understood you. Doubt that maybe, just maybe, they've already lost you, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's the power of Stoicism. Not reacting, not chasing. Just becoming so unshakable that they start to feel your absence in a way they never anticipated. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. 8 psychological shifts that will flip the dynamic, break their illusion of control, and make them wonder why they ever let you go in the first place. Folks, this isn't about playing games. This is about reclaiming your power, mastering your emotions, and showing them, without a single word, that you were never someone to take for granted. Let's get started.
Number 1. The silent shift that breaks them. Hey folks, let's talk about power. Not the kind that comes from shouting or making a scene, but the kind that sneaks up on them in the quiet. The kind of power that doesn't need to prove itself because it speaks through absence. When someone starts pulling away, ignoring you, treating you like an afterthought, your first instinct might be to react. Maybe you want to block them, thinking that'll send a message. Maybe you feel tempted to send one last text, just to remind them you're still there. Or maybe, just maybe, you keep checking your phone, hoping they'll realize what they're about to lose. But here's where most people get it all wrong. Blocking them? That's just a knee-jerk reaction. It's like flipping a table over in frustration. Loud, dramatic, but ultimately ineffective. Begging? That only confirms what they already suspect, that they hold all the power. And chasing? That's the fastest way to lose the little leverage you have left. Folks, real power comes from silence. Imagine this. You used to text them first, always reaching out, always making sure they felt your presence. But one day, you stop. No warning, no explanation, just silence. At first, they might not notice. Maybe they assume you're just busy. Maybe they think you're still lingering somewhere in the background, waiting for them. But then a few days pass, and something shifts. They check their phone. No messages from you. They scroll through their feed. Nothing. They go about their day, expecting you to be there, like always. But this time you're not. And that's when it starts. That tiny seed of doubt. At first, they brush it off. But then, little by little, they start to wonder. Did I lose them? Why aren't they reaching out? Have they moved on? That's the silent shift that breaks them. Because, folks, people don't appreciate what's always available. They only start valuing something when it's gone. Your silence? It's not just the absence of words, it's the absence of certainty. And uncertainty? That's what messes with their head. It's basic human psychology. The brain hates unfinished stories. When someone disappears without explanation, we can't help but fill in the blanks. And the more they wonder about you, the more space you take up in their mind. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but what if they don't notice? What if they don't care? Trust me, they will. It may take days, it may take weeks, but the moment you pull back, the shift begins. And here's the best part. This isn't just about them. It's about you too. The more silent you become, the more you start regaining your own energy. Instead of spending your time worrying about what they think, you start focusing on yourself. And that kind of shift, that's true power. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." And that's exactly what silence gives you, control over yourself. Because the truth is, you don't need to block them. You don't need to make a big statement. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to disappear from their world and let them feel what life is like without you. And believe me, they will feel it. But here's the thing, folks, silence alone isn't enough. Because if you're still waiting for them to notice, if you're still hoping for that one message, then you haven't really taken back your power. That's why the next step is crucial. Stop begging. And we're about to break that down in a way that changes everything. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. Have you ever gone silent on someone and seen a reaction you didn't expect? Drop a comment below and share your experience. And if you're ready to reclaim your power, type it out, "I choose silence." Also, if you're finding value in this, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next part. The next step is where the real transformation begins. Let's keep going. Number 2, stop begging. Hey folks, let's talk about something that I know a lot of you are struggling with right now. That urge to reach out, to send one more message, to say something, anything that might make them see your worth. I get it. When someone pulls away, ignores you, or acts like you don't matter, it's human nature to want to fight for the connection. You want to remind them of what you had. You want to fix it. You want to make them stay. But here's the truth. Begging never works. Not once in the history of relationships has someone thought, "Wow, they're really desperate for my attention. I think I'll love them more now." That's not how attraction works. The more you beg, the more you push them away. And I know that sounds harsh, but you need to hear it. Because if you keep chasing, if you keep proving that you're willing to accept breadcrumbs, that's all you'll ever get. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how people crave what they can't have? The second something feels out of reach, it suddenly becomes more valuable. That's basic psychology. People don't appreciate what's always available. They appreciate what they might lose. So when you're sitting there, waiting for them to notice you, checking your phone every 5 minutes, replaying every conversation in your head, what message are you sending? You're telling them, "I'll be here no matter what. You can treat me however you want, and I'll still be here." And if they know that, why would they change? I know some of you are thinking, but what if I don't beg? What if I just reach out casually? Folks, there's no such thing as casual when your emotions are involved. You're not texting them because you have something important to say. You're texting them because you want a reaction. And that's exactly why you shouldn't. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine someone is constantly checking up on you, always available, always waiting for your response. At first, you might appreciate the attention, but over time, it becomes predictable, boring. You know they're always there, so you stop valuing it. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine someone who used to be there suddenly stops. No explanation, no drama, just silence. That gets your attention, doesn't it? You start wondering what happened. You start checking their profile. You start thinking about them more. That's the shift you need to create. Not by playing games, not by pretending, but by actually walking away. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Because the second you stop chasing, something powerful happens. You stop needing their validation. You stop looking for signs that they care. And the best part? That's when they actually start to notice. Now, I know this isn't easy. I know there's a part of you that wants to believe that if you just try harder, they'll see your worth. But, folks, your worth isn't something you need to prove. The right person will see it without you having to beg for it. And if they don't, then why are you wasting your time trying to convince them? You don't need to cut them off. You don't need to block them. You don't need to send one final message to get closure. You just need to stop. Stop checking in. Stop waiting. Stop hoping they'll wake up one day and realize what they lost. Because the moment you do, you put yourself back in control. And here's the ironic part. When you finally let go, when you finally stop caring, that's usually when they start to. Maybe not right away, maybe not in the way you expected, but silence has a way of creeping into people's minds. And when they realize that you're no longer there, that you're no longer waiting, that's when they start to wonder. So here's my challenge for you. Instead of sending that message, instead of checking their social media, take that energy and put it into yourself. Do something that makes you feel good. Go to the gym, pick up a new hobby. Focus on your own growth. Because when you start to level up, when you start becoming someone who doesn't need their approval, you automatically become more attractive. Not just to them, but to everyone around you. And if they come back, good. But this time, you're not going to be the same person they walked away from. You're going to be stronger, smarter, less available. And if they don't come back, then you just dodged a bullet. Folks, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stopped chasing someone and seen a shift? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're ready to take back your power, type it out. I choose myself. Say it, believe it, live it. And if this message is hitting home for you, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Because in the next part, we're talking about something even more powerful. Why you should never block them, and why making them watch is way more effective. Let's move on. Number 3, don't block. Make them watch. Hey folks, I know how tempting it is. You want to block them. Cut them off completely. Erase them from your life like they never existed. Maybe you think it'll send a message, make them feel your absence, or even hurt them the way they hurt you. And trust me, I get it. When someone ignores you, disrespects you, or makes you feel like an afterthought, the natural reaction is to shut them out. You want to show them that they don't matter anymore. But here's the thing, blocking them doesn't give you power. It gives them confirmation that they still have an effect on you. Think about it. What does blocking really say? It says, I can't handle seeing you. I need to remove you from my life because you still have power over my emotions. And the second they realize that, they know they got to you. That's not the message you want to send. So instead of blocking them, do something even better. Make them watch. Let them sit with their own choices. Let them see your life continue. Let them wonder what you're doing. Let them feel what it's like when you stop making them the center of your world. Because silence, that gets under their skin far more than a block ever could. When you block them, you make it easy for them to forget you. Out of sight, out of mind. They don't have to wonder about you, don't have to see how you're doing, don't have to deal with the reality that you're still out there, living, thriving, moving forward. But when you leave that door open, when you don't block them, you create something far more powerful. You create curiosity. And here's what happens when curiosity kicks in. They start checking your profile. Maybe at first it's just once, but then it becomes more frequent. They start wondering if you've moved on, if you're happier without them, if someone else has taken their place. They start realizing that you haven't reached out, you haven't been waiting around, you haven't been falling apart like they expected, and that's what messes with their head. See, people expect you to react. They expect you to block them, lash out, post something dramatic, try to get their attention. But when you do nothing, when you stay quiet, stay composed, stay focused on yourself, that's when they start to feel it. That's when they start to question everything. I know what you're thinking. But won't it be painful to see them moving on? Won't it be hard not to block them when I know they don't care? And I get it. It's not easy. But this isn't about them. This is about you taking back your power. Because when you block them, you're still acting based on emotion. But when you don't, when you let them see that you're unaffected, that's when you become untouchable. Now, this doesn't mean you should be checking up on them, watching their every move, hoping for some kind of reaction. That's not the point. The point is to shift your focus so completely onto yourself that what they do or don't do becomes irrelevant. And in the process, you make them realize what they lost without even trying. And let's be real, people always check up on the ones they walked away from. Always. Even if they act like they don't care, even if they pretend they've moved on, at some point, that curiosity kicks in. It might not happen right away. It might take weeks, even months, but it happens. And when it does, you want to make sure that when they look, they see someone stronger, someone who didn't crumble, someone who became better, not bitter. So here's what you do instead of blocking. You live. You grow. You focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Not to prove anything to them, not to make them jealous, but because that's what you deserve. And when they finally check back in, when they finally realize they don't have the access they once did, when they finally start wondering what happened, that's when the regret sets in. Because nothing haunts a person more than the realization that the one they took for granted is doing just fine without them. And when that moment comes, you'll be too busy moving forward to even care. Folks, have you ever had someone come back after they saw you moving on? Drop a comment below and share your story. And if you're ready to stop reacting and start thriving, type it out. I don't block, I elevate. And if this is resonating with you, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because next we're talking about flipping the power dynamic. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. Let's move on. Number 4. Reverse the power dynamic. Hey folks, let's talk about something that changes everything. The power dynamic. Because let's be real, when someone pulls away, ignores you, or treats you like an afterthought, it's easy to feel powerless. It's easy to feel like you're just sitting there, waiting for them to decide whether or not you're worthy of their attention. But here's what most people don't realize. You're not actually powerless. You just haven't been playing the game right. See, the reason they have control over you right now is simple. You've been reacting to them instead of making them react to you. They text late and you reply immediately. They pull away and you chase. They go silent and you start overanalyzing, trying to figure out what you did wrong. But let me ask you something. Why are they the ones setting the tone? Why are they the ones deciding how this plays out? Because the moment you shift that, the moment you stop reacting and start dictating the energy, everything changes. And that's exactly what we're about to do. The first step to reversing the power dynamic is to stop making them the center of your world. Think about it. How much mental space are they taking up right now? How often do you check your phone, wondering if they've texted? How much energy do you waste replaying old conversations, searching for answers that don't even matter anymore? Now flip that. Imagine what happens when, instead of obsessing over them, you put all that focus back on yourself. You wake up and instead of checking your phone, you check in with yourself. What do you want today? What's going to make you feel good? You start making plans, hitting the gym, focusing on your goals, not because you're trying to make them jealous, but because you refuse to let them control your emotions anymore. And here's the crazy part. The moment you shift your focus, they feel it. Because suddenly you're not predictable anymore. Suddenly you're not waiting around. You're not reacting to their every move. And when people sense that energy shift, when they realize they're no longer in control of how you feel, they start paying attention. That's how you reverse the power dynamic. Not by trying to win them back, not by playing games, but by making it clear. You are the prize, not them. And the key to making them feel that? Unpredictability. People expect you to be available. They expect you to reply quickly, to keep showing up, to always be there. But what happens when you stop being so easy to reach? What happens when they text, and instead of dropping everything, you take your time, hours, maybe even days before responding? What happens when they expect you to chase, and instead you disappear? That's when the dynamic shifts. That's when they start wondering about you. Because now, they don't know where they stand. Now, they're questioning whether they still have access to you. And nothing makes someone more interested than the fear of losing something they thought they had. I've seen it happen time and time again. The moment someone truly stops chasing, stops reacting, stops playing by the other person's rules, that's when the tables turn. That's when the other person starts reaching out more, starts putting in effort, starts wondering if they made a mistake. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if they don't notice? What if they don't care? And that's exactly why this is so powerful. Because when you shift your focus, when you take back control, it doesn't matter whether they notice or not. The point isn't to manipulate them into missing you. The point is to free yourself from needing them to. Because here's the truth. When you stop seeking their validation, you stop giving them power over you. And that's when you realize the power was never in their hands to begin with. So here's my challenge for you. Instead of reacting today, instead of checking in on them, instead of wondering what they're thinking, ask yourself what you want. What's something you can do today that makes you feel more like yourself? And then go do that. Because the moment you start living for you, the moment you stop waiting for their attention and start focusing on your own energy, you've already won. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever shifted your energy and seen someone suddenly start chasing you instead? Drop a comment below and tell me your story. And if you're ready to take back your power, type it out. I set the rules. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because in the next part, we're talking about something even more powerful. How to make them feel replaceable. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. Let's move on. Number 5, make them feel replaceable. Hey folks, let's talk about a hard truth. People don't value what they think they can't lose. The moment someone believes they have a guaranteed place in your life, that's the moment they start taking you for granted. They assume you'll always be there, waiting, no matter how they treat you. And as long as they believe that, they'll never feel the urgency to change, to step up, or to appreciate your presence. But here's where you flip the script. Instead of making them feel irreplaceable, you make them feel like just another option. You make them see that they're not the center of your world, that they don't hold exclusive power over your happiness. And when they realize that, that's when the insecurity kicks in. That's when they start to wonder, wait, what if they actually move on? Now, I'm not telling you to be fake, to play games, or to treat people as disposable. This isn't about manipulation. It's about perspective. It's about understanding a fundamental truth of human psychology. People want what they feel they might lose. And right now, they don't feel that fear. So how do you make them feel replaceable? Let's break it down. First, you have to stop treating them like they're special. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. When someone is acting distant, ignoring you, or treating you like an afterthought, they are not acting like someone who deserves your undivided attention. So why are you still giving it to them? Why are you treating them like they're some rare gem when they're showing you that they don't see your value? Think about the way people behave in relationships. When someone senses they're easily replaceable, they step up. They put in effort. They try to prove their worth because they feel the risk of losing you. But when someone senses that you'll always be there, no matter what, they become lazy. They stop trying. Now imagine this. You stop prioritizing them. You stop waiting for their texts. You stop making them your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night. Instead, you start expanding your world. You start making new connections, investing in yourself, giving your attention to people who actually appreciate it. And here's what happens next. At first, they might not notice. They might assume you're still lingering in the background, waiting for their validation. But over time, as you shift your focus, they start to feel it. That lack of attention, that absence of effort, it creates a void. And suddenly they realize that the thing they took for granted, it's slipping away. And here's the part that really gets them. You don't even have to say a word. You don't have to post about living your best life or make some dramatic statement about moving on. You just have to exist in a way that makes it clear you're doing just fine without them. You see, the biggest mistake people make is thinking they need to prove something to the person who hurt them. They think, if I show them I'm doing better, they'll regret it. But that mindset is still rooted in needing their validation. And the truth is, the moment you stop caring whether they notice is the moment they start noticing. Now I know what some of you are thinking. But what if they don't care? What if they're truly done with me? And my answer? Good. Because if someone can walk away and never look back, that's all the proof you need that they were never meant to stay. And instead of wasting your energy trying to make them regret it, You should be putting that energy into becoming the kind of person who doesn't settle for being an afterthought in the first place. So here's what I want you to do. Stop over-investing in people who are under-investing in you. Stop acting like they're the only person who could ever make you happy. Stop waiting for them to wake up and realize your worth. Instead, make yourself so valuable, so magnetic, that they start questioning whether they ever deserved you in the first place. And if they do come back, that's when you get to decide whether they still deserve a place in your life. Because by that point, you won't be the same person they walked away from. You'll be stronger, wiser, and too focused on yourself to settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. Folks, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had someone suddenly put in effort when they realized you weren't waiting anymore? Drop a comment below and tell me your experience. And if you're ready to take back your power, type it out. I am not an option. I am the prize. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe, because next we're talking about something that makes you even more powerful, the power of unpredictability. And trust me, that's where things really start to shift. Let's move on. Number 6, the power of unpredictability. Hey folks, let's talk about something that keeps people hooked, something that makes them think about you even when they don't want to. Unpredictability. See, one of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is becoming too predictable. You text first, you always reply right away. You always say yes when they ask you to hang out. And at first, that might seem like a good thing. You're showing effort, you're being consistent to self, you're proving that you care. But here's what you need to understand. Predictability kills attraction. Think about it. Have you ever watched a movie where you could predict every scene before it happened? It's boring, right? You stop paying attention because you already know what's coming. But when a story has twists and turns, when it keeps you guessing, that's when you stay engaged. That's when you can't stop watching. And guess what? Human relationships work the exact same way. When someone knows exactly what to expect from you, they stop valuing your presence. They stop feeling excited to hear from you. They stop wondering about you because you're too available, too easy to figure out. But when you become unpredictable, that's when things shift. That's when they start paying attention. So how do you use unpredictability to your advantage? It's not about playing games. It's not about being hot and cold just to confuse them. It's about breaking their expectations in a way that makes them start questioning things. Maybe you always text first, so one day you don't. Maybe you always say yes when they make plans, so next time you're busy. Maybe they think they know your schedule. They think they can predict your next move. But then they check and you're out doing something new, something unexpected, something that doesn't involve them. And suddenly, they don't know where they stand with you anymore. That feeling? That's what brings people back. Because now, instead of you chasing them, they're thinking about you. Instead of assuming you'll always be there, they start wondering if they're losing their hold on you. And that's when they start checking in more, reaching out more, trying to figure you out again. But here's the most important part. You don't do this for them. You don't become unpredictable as some tactic to get them back. You do it because you refuse to be the person who waits around for someone else's attention. You start living for yourself. You start doing things on your own terms. And as a result, you become a mystery. You become someone worth thinking about. And let's be honest, nothing drives a person crazier than not knowing. Not knowing where you are. Not knowing what you're thinking. Not knowing whether they still have the same effect on you. That's why unpredictability is powerful. It makes people realize they don't know everything about you. It keeps them intrigued, keeps them wondering, keeps them coming back to see what you'll do next. So here's my challenge for you. Stop being so predictable. Stop being the person who's always available, always responding, always doing the same things. Shake things up. Change your patterns. Do something unexpected. Not for them, but for you. And watch how everything shifts. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever pulled back and seen someone suddenly start chasing? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're ready to stop being predictable and start being unforgettable, type it out. I keep them guessing. And if this is hitting home for you, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because next, we're talking about something even more powerful, the art of giving no closure. And trust me, this is where the real power is. Let's keep going. Number 7. Give them no closure. Hey folks, let's get straight to it. Closure is overrated. I know. We've all been told that closure is the key to moving on, that you need that one final conversation, that one last moment of understanding, that perfect ending where everything is neatly tied up. But let me ask you, how many times has closure actually made you feel better? How many times has getting answers really changed anything? The truth is, closure isn't for you, it's for them. See, when someone walks away, when they decide to distance themselves, they expect a reaction. Maybe they expect you to beg for an explanation. Maybe they expect you to demand answers, to ask why. Maybe they're even waiting for that one last conversation where you tell them exactly how they made you feel, so they can justify their actions in their mind and walk away guilt-free. And that's exactly why you don't give it to them. Because when you deny someone closure, you do something powerful. You leave the story unfinished in their mind. Think about it. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head because you didn't hear the ending? Or a movie that left you hanging, making you think about it for days? That's exactly what happens when you disappear without a final explanation. And guess what? Humans hate unfinished stories. The mind craves resolution. It wants things to make sense, to have an ending, to be wrapped up in a way that feels complete. And when it doesn't get that, it lingers, it replays, it keeps searching for answers. Now, I'm not saying you should ghost someone out of nowhere, but if they made the choice to pull away, if they showed you through their actions that they weren't valuing you, you do not owe them an explanation. You do not owe them a heartfelt goodbye. You do not owe them the chance to walk away feeling at peace. Because the moment you stop chasing closure, the moment you stop seeking that final moment of clarity, you take back your power. And here's the irony. The people who don't give closure are the ones who are remembered the longest. Not because they were cruel, not because they played games, but because they left a mark that the other person couldn't erase. One day, long after they think they've moved on, they'll find themselves wondering, what happened? Why didn't they say anything? Did they ever really care? Or were they already gone before I even realized it? And those thoughts? They last longer than any goodbye ever could. So here's my advice to you. Stop searching for closure. Stop waiting for an apology that won't change anything. Stop hoping for a conversation that will magically make it all make sense. Because the truth is, the only closure you need is knowing that you deserve better than someone who made you question your worth in the first place. Now, tell me in the comments, have you ever walked away without giving closure? Did they come back looking for answers? Drop your story below. And if you're ready to move forward without needing an ending, type it out. I am the closure. And if this is hitting home for you, hit that like button and subscribe, because next, we're talking about the final piece of the puzzle, letting time work against them. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Let's keep going. Number 8. Let time work against them. Hey folks, let's talk about patience. Not the kind where you wait by your phone, hoping for a message that may never come. Not the kind where you sit around counting the days until they realize what they lost. I'm talking about the kind of patience that works in your favor. The kind where time does all the heavy lifting, while you move on with your life. See, when someone walks away from you, when they distance themselves, they assume something. They assume that time will make them forget about you. That as the days pass, their life will go on without any real impact. They assume that what you had will slowly fade into the background, that they'll just move on without a second thought. But what they don't realize is that time doesn't erase value, it reveals it. At first, they might feel free. They might feel relieved. Maybe they go out more. Maybe they distract themselves. Maybe they even start talking to someone new. And in that moment, it seems like you don't exist to them. And that's where most people panic. That's when most people make the mistake of reaching out, trying to remind them of what they lost. But here's where you do something different. You let time do what it does best. Because the more time passes, the more reality starts to set in. That newness, that excitement they felt at first, it fades. The people they thought could replace you, they don't compare. The moments they shared with you, the inside jokes, the way you made them feel, the way you understood them without them having to say a word, those things don't just disappear. They become sharper over time. They become harder to ignore, and that's when it starts. At first, it's just a passing thought. Something reminds them of you. A song, a place, a phrase someone else says. They brush it off. But then, it happens again and again. And before they know it, they start feeling your absence in a way they never expected. They scroll through old messages just to see what was said. They check your social media, wondering if you've moved on. They start replaying moments in their head, searching for the exact moment when they lost you. And the worst part? There's nothing they can do about it. Because by then, you're gone. Not in an angry, dramatic way. Not in a way that makes it obvious that you were waiting for this moment. No, you're gone in a way that makes them realize they lost something real. Because here's what time does. It forces people to confront reality. And the reality is, when someone loses something valuable, they feel it more with each passing day. Not immediately. Not in the heat of the moment. But later, when they realize that you weren't just a phase, you weren't just an option, you were something real. And real things? They don't just fade away. So while they're out there letting time slip by, what are you doing? You're growing. You're evolving. You're becoming someone even better than the person they walked away from. Not because you're trying to prove something to them, but because you refuse to let their absence define you. And that's where the real power is. Because when they finally wake up, when they finally realize what they had, when they finally decide they want another chance, it's too late. Not because you're trying to punish them, not because you're holding a grudge, but because you've outgrown them. So let time work against them. Let time remind them of everything they lost. Let time be the thing that makes them realize that walking away from you was a mistake. Because by the time they do, you won't be looking back. If you've made it this far, you already know what needs to be done. No more chasing, no more begging, no more waiting. Let silence speak, let time do its job, and most importantly, focus on yourself. Because in the end, the real power isn't in making them miss you. It's in becoming the person who doesn't need them to. Now, I want to hear from you. What was the biggest takeaway from this video? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and remember, you are the prize.